Hello and welcome into the Piles of Paragraphs creative space. I'm Lori and today I'm going to do one of my July Jumble videos, and this one is about tea and rust staining a journal. I had mentioned in a previous journal that there was an idea that I had seen and was quite fascinated by, and so this last weekend I decided to get my act together and actually do the dunking for my journal. So let's get going. This is the cover, and I'm really excited about the cover. My only regret about it is that I did not put any keys on the back, so there's just some kind of cool marks, but no rust stain keys. I did obviously a bunch of pages. This one is just done on a piece of book page, and it had an old photograph on it. Most of these are done with a 3-piece collage, just something quick and fast so for me to test on. So like this one it's a piece of paper that I had die cut and put some fabric on. You can see they're all really quite grungy. I used a really strong tea liquid to dunk these in, and I let them sit for about probably an hour. So another photograph. I'm really pleased with the rusted prints that I got from the rusty bits that I put in. I was really surprised that this I was able to get such good marks with just the tea. There's no vinegar in this mix at all. I did have some spaces on the back of my pages that stayed well, still not white, because it started out as let's see, these pages started out as just a piece of regular white cardstock, so you can see it's not totally white, but it's still much lighter than the rest of the page, and that's, I think, from the glue that I used on the back of my collage items, and probably also because it was the center of the journal. I really like the way this one came out. This key printed really neat on that old letter, and the not a clothespin, paper clip. There we go. And then this is a photo that was part of game cards from some game that parts of a game that I managed to pick up at one point. But see, there's quite a bit of lightness on the back of that. But I'll probably be collaging onto the back of these to dress them up a bit. I like the way this took the tea and the rust bits as well. It's one of my favorite rusty pieces. I wish I had 4 or 5 more of those. This is a nice key on the back. And yeah, I should have taken better notes about what kind of glue I used where, but I know I used glue stick and art glitter glue on most of these collages. So this one is a little bit different. I did a video some time ago for scrappy tags, and this is one of the scrappy tags that I made, and attached it to the plain piece of cardstock. Excuse me. Oh, coffee. And they held together pretty well. I mean, even the sticker stayed on. I didn't have to re-glue it down, so I was quite pleased with that. I had a guest check underneath this one that you'll see later that had some color on it, so I like the way that one came out a lot. There's another one of my scrappy tags, and it's yeah, I guess that is where the glue is, because that's the side she's on. So I am happy the way they turned out. This one could probably use a bit of glue to glue it back down. Yeah, these pieces were loose, but they didn't come completely off, so that was encouraging. And some good marks on the back of that. So another one. I thought these stickers might just come flying off, but they didn't. Oh, there's a little bit that's loose. So a bit of fixing. Now this is a vintage postcard, and it stayed on really well. And then the back of it took the dye really well. When I took it out of the book and set it out to dry, I have I think it was probably a fish pan or something that I picked up at the charity shop, and it has all these little squares on it, so I was really happy with the way that turned out on the back of that one. Now this one, hi Dev, my kitty Debbie's here. No, Deb, don't get up on the desk. Now this one is also a vintage postcard, but as you can see or not see, the lady that was on this faded away. She looks quite ghostly. My husband was saying this would be a kind of a good, like a Halloween page, but and the back of it has some good marks on it, so I think I'll probably use it, even though she looks rather strange there, but it's interesting the way things take. This is French letter, and the ink, I think that's what that is. I don't know, I guess not from this, because this didn't run. Whatever I had behind it had ink on it, and so that bled through. This little girl's a sticker, and she stayed right on there. And then whatever I had sitting behind it, you can see the shapes. I guess that influenced the back almost more than the other. And here's another piece of that same vintage postcard, and the lady faded out quite a bit, but the flowers stayed pretty vibrant. So that's kind of an interesting difference. And had some washers on there. And then, yeah, there's the white on the back again. This is part of a flash card, and had a couple of nails that I put on there. I really like the way those printed. And then I think that back of that one's quite interesting. Whatever was behind it, probably this, the blue ink ran. And here's another photograph, and this one did not turn yellow like the other ones did, so it turned out pretty well. Some more white on the back. Here's the guest checks that I was talking about. This one, this is a piece of paper, embossed paper that had been waxed, and the embossing is pretty much gone, but you can still see the pattern a little bit, very subtle. And the stamp stayed on, so everything stayed on here pretty well, I think. Well, unless I glued it, no, I may have had to glue this back down. I did these kind of really excitedly as I brought them in the house after I dried them. This piece came off. I had to glue it back on, so I didn't get it lined up quite exactly. But these are kind of fun. And this is the purple guest check pattern that came off on the back of that other page, which I thought was really cool. So I'll probably use more color paper next time I do this. This was a piece of previously stained paper that one of my swap partners sent to me, and I had put some botanical bits in, like I think this is a mesquite pod, or one of the pods from one of the trees on our street. And then there's the butterfly, I think from the die cut on the first page that I showed you. So this page came out really cool, really like that. And these are all pages from my swap partners. And I'll apologize right now, I don't remember who sent me which ones, but I thought I'd show them to you because they really did a nice job. I love the way the key came out on here, and everything stayed on these. See, that back of that one is just great. I just love that. This is one of my favorites too. I just love this die cut lady that she put on there, and then we've got the nail and the paper clips. I think I picked the paper clip up and moved it over when I set it out to dry, and that made the kind of ghost print there. This one is the only piece that I completely lost something off of, and it stuck to the back of another page. This strip of stamps. He stayed on here, this stayed on there, but the stamps came off, so I did glue them back on. But I think it came out really cool. And this one turned out really well too, with this cute little rooster on here. This is a playing card, I think, from a kid's rummy game, maybe. So this turned out really cool. So like I said, my swap partner sent me some great stuff. This is a card that one of my swap partners sent. I keep saying that, sorry. Just want to make sure I don't take credit for their work. But beautifully done. It stayed together pretty well. I think that's a little bit loose now. I'll go back and put some art glitter glue on there, but yeah, the tape stayed on. Kind of fun, you know. I thought there would be a lot more loose things when I took the bundle apart. And this one had been previously stained, and so it took the dye a little bit differently. I love the way the back of that came out. I think that looks really cool. It's another one that came out really well. The green stamp stayed on. They didn't come off. This one turned out really cool as well. This is an envelope, so it's got a pocket in it. I love that idea. I'm gonna borrow that for the future, I think. And this lady stayed on. The back came out. Oh, there's my favorite. I don't know what that thing is. Gear, I guess. There's a I think a playing card, an altered playing card. Everything stayed on this really well. The washer that I put on there made a really cool rust mark. This one turned out really nicely as well. This paper took the Breno's brown paper to begin with, but it took the tea and the rust nicely. This one's another one that took the rust really well. I love this one. Cowboys and Horses, how could you not love it? And a piece of ledger paper. And the ledger paper held up really well. And I think this is washi tape. Also stayed on really well. So that's another idea for me to remember in the future. And I had gotten this bag in either a Happy Mail or a thank you from an Etsy item that I bought earlier, and it was very pink and light, and I don't use a lot of those colors in stuff that I make, so I wanted to try it in here, and it turned out really cool. I was very careful though when I took it out, and when it had mostly dried but not completely dried, took my bone folder and made sure that the bag stayed open so that it didn't seal. But I'm really happy with the way that turned out. A prescription that was part of my swaps. Here's just a receipt from Hobby Lobby that I wanted to see if it would take any of the color pretty well, and it did. And then here's another book page that I got in swap that I also put in there, and as you can see, it didn't take a lot of color, and it was on the back of them, on the back cover. So I wonder if that had something to do with that. I glued 4 pieces of paper together to make my wrapping for the journal, and the glue did not hold, which was interesting to me since it held so well on those pages, but I think I just had done a thin line of art glitter glue on this paper. It's like kids paper that when they teach you how to print and stuff, one with all the extra lines. So there's still some lines visible. Took the color well. I had it wrapped with a twill, kind of a ribbon, and I think that's from the ribbon. I had a key tied onto it. So that's how these turned out. I think this was on the front cover because I think those are the same keys that are on the front cover. But also as part of this project I had done and I don't know that I showed this to you guys before, this is a piece of fabric that I tea stained and then just set the rusty bits on it. I didn't get super prints. There's some, but I like the color and I like the way it turned out. This is what the fabric looked like when it started after the tea dye, because it's kind of it's supposed to be a purple tea, but I think it's kind of more of a mauve color. But once I added the rusty bits on, it turned that kind of gray blue. And then this was also done with the tea and the rust and vinegar. These pages are all done with vinegar, and I got some really nice prints on those. And then there's another one. And this is another one. And I did some book page, which I think I may have shown you because I used some of that in one of my others. This is a piece of tracing paper, which actually turned out much better than I thought it was going to. And then these are just kind of some failed, in inverted commas, rust pages, because I did not cover them properly and they dried really quickly. And so when they dry really quickly, you get rust blots instead of more defined images. So there you go. That's my my crazy rust tea journal project for the month of July. I will be putting all these bits together, or most all these bits together, into the journal. I'm still trying to decide how I want to bind it. So if you have any suggestions for that, I'd love to hear it. I'm just kind of leaning towards just a hole punch and some twine, I think, at this point, probably, or maybe some fabric. I don't know, one or the other. But now I got rusty bits all over my desk. But thank you for joining me for this. This is going to be an ongoing thing. I'm really enjoying the rust dyeing and the tea dyeing. Although now with the temperatures in the afternoons here getting up to 115, 116, I may have to scale back my my projects a bit, because it takes kind of bits and pieces all day, and it's getting too hot for me to even be out. Well, the garage is always too hot, but anyway, so it may be a little while before you see too much more of this stuff, but I thank you for joining me today, and I hope you'll join me again in the future. And for now, I'll say bye-bye.